Yud Zion, Yud Aleph. There are instances in which the rabbi spoke of a small measure. Liquid and dry measures were prescribed in accordance with Italian measures, which are the same as wilderness ones. There are instances in which the sages stated that measurements vary according to the size of the individual. One who performs chamitza on a Mishna offering, and one who scoops up the incense. One who drinks a quantity equal to the full of his cheeks on Yom Kippur, and the food for two meals for an Erev Tuchum. One's food for a weekday but not for the Sabbath. These are the wonder words of Rav Meir. And Rabbi Yehuda says one food for the Sabbath but not for a weekday. And both this one and that one intend to rule leniently. Rav Shimon says 2/3 of a loaf of which 3 are a kav. Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka says a loaf worth a punyan when 4 sars cost a selah. There are instances in which the sages spoke of a large measure. A ladle full of a corpse dust is measured against a full big physician's ladle. The split bean of a negayim is measured against a split Sicilian bean. And one who eats on Yom Kippur the vayam of a large date is liable if he ate the equivalent of it and its pit. The measure of skin bottles of wine and oil to lose their tumah is a hole the size of their large oil. Regarding a window that was not made by a person, its measure to spread tumah is the size of a large fist, and that is the fist of Ben B'ta'ak. Right. Where we said the fist has the same proportion as a large human head. Regarding a window that was made by a person, its measure to spread tumah is the size of a hole made by a large ogre of the temple chamber. This is as large as an Italian punjum, and it also as large as an Ionian sela, and is as large as the hole in a yoke. Okay.
More.
All utensils made from sea creatures are tahor, except utensils made from a sig dog, since it flees to dry land. These are the words of Rabbi Akiva. If one makes utensils from something that grows in the sea and attaches to the utensil something that grows on land, even a thread or a string, something that's susceptible to tumah, the utensil is susceptible to tumah.
Okay. All right. Yesh tumah. So it's some things that were created on the first day that are susceptible to tumah. Okay, so we're going through all 6 days of creation. On the first day, shamayim v'aretz, lots of things are made out of earthenware that can become tameh. Okay. Then b'sheni ein bo tumah. Right. What's on the second day is the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nobody's making any Keilim out of the sky. All right. Let's move on. Shlishi yesh bo tumah. What's on the third day? On the come on. It's Maseh Bereishis is wooden utensils made from trees. Okay. That can be susceptible to tumah. B'revi'u v'chamishi ein b'hem tumah. Right, on the fourth day and the fifth day. So the fourth day is all the celestial objects, the stars and the sun and whatever. Nobody's making any Keilim out of that. But what's important also is on the fifth day, you have the birds and the fish. Any Keilim made out of those are not going to be tahor. So first of all, anything that's in the sea we've already seen is tahor. And the birds, from fish or sea creatures, with the exception, so it's not very practical, first of all, to make anything out of birds. But let's say you've got something made out of an ostrich shell or out of the wing of an oz. So these are large birds, osnia. And identified as the osnia is an osprey, a large fish-eating hawk, and the basayana is an ostrich. So any utensils made from these are derabanan, have tumah, because Chazal were worried that these might be confused with the bones of land animals, which have tumah midoraisa. And the rabbis also decreed that the vessels fashioned from the shells of ostrich eggs that were plated, making them more durable, are susceptible to tumah. This applies only to plated utensils made from shells of ostrich eggs, since they are somewhat durable even before being plated. By contrast, this decree does not apply to plated utensils made from other types of eggshells due to the non-plated shell's fragile nature. Okay. What's different with this bird's wing from any other birds? It says, so in his opinion, it doesn't matter what kind of bird that you're making it, as long if the vessel contains a receptacle, then there'll still be a gezerah derabanan on any kind of utensil, even made from any other kind of bird. Okay. And everything that was created on the sixth day is tame, so that's all the animals and man, of course, where a corpse can become an avi avos atoma. Okay, tesvav. If one makes any kind of receptacle, it is tame. Okay, so what do you mean any kind of receptacle? So the commentary explains a receptacle is susceptible to tumah, however small its cavity. No minimum capacity is required for a receptacle to be susceptible to tumah. Okay, this is only referring to articles of wood and leather, because earthenware receptacles we learned back in Perek Base and do have a minimum measure to be susceptible for tumah. Okay, alternatively, the Mishnah could be referring to the type of material from which the receptacle is made, and teaches that a receptacle is susceptible to tumah regardless of what material it is made of, as the Mishnah will soon illustrate. Okay, any type of bed or seat is tame. So any utensil designed to bear a person's weight is rendered tame if a zav, a zava, or a nida, or a yoled sits on it or rests on it, even if the person does not touch it directly. Okay, that includes any kind of utensils used for lying on, e.g. couches and mats, or sitting on, okay? And any kind of object rendered tame by a zav in this manner is known as a midras hazav. So this tumah of midras is an exception to the rule that tumah is weakened as it is transmitted. A midras hazav becomes not a rishon, but an avatumah like the zav himself.
Right.
Okay, and so the Mishnah here is not, what's it coming to teach us is not about the object's size, but rather to the manner in which one supported its weight, his weight on the object. It's not necessary for the zav to actually sit on the seat. He conveys tumah to it, even if he only leans on it or hangs from it. Okay, and ha'ose kisme or hamatzah. Okay, umin haniyar tame. So this is not matzah that we're eating. This is purse from an untreated hide. That's so before it becomes a parchment, it's got to be treated properly so that it can be dried and used for paper. So if he makes a purse from it, or even from papyrus, it is nonetheless tame. Okay, so this is again a receptacle. So a receptacle has to be durable in order to be susceptible to tumah. Okay. In essence, this Mishnah is teaching that receptacles fashioned from unprocessed hide or from papyrus are in fact sufficiently durable to be classified as utensils. Okay, back to the Mishnah. Harimon ha'alon v'ha'egoz shechakakum ha'tinokos lamod bahem es ha'afar. Okay, you got kids who are playing with whatever they found on the ground. So a pomegranate shell or an acorn or a walnut. So the children hollowed it out in order to scoop sand and make sand castles or whatever it is that they're doing. Or they made them into a toy scale. Tame. These things are susceptible to tumah, even though it's made by a child. So children, like all other people who are not bar das, the chereshot of a katan, they don't have the das that they say, oh, that's a nice thing. I'm gonna use it as a seat. That would be das. Because when you in your mind designate something, a child can't do that. But if a child actually physically comes and hollows out a shell so that it can contain stuff in it, that's a kli. Children can do stuff like that, and so can a cheresh and a shoteh. Okay. Tes Zayin is an interesting one because it's all dealing with ways of crookedness. These are things that where people want to cheat the system. And they've got little hidden compartments in something that looks like it's empty, like it couldn't contain anything. So Keilim was named. So the balance beam of a scale, right? The scale, the thing that's on the top, right? That should be just a plain stick, right? So the v'hamachok, or a level measure, that have a sheyesh b'hen base kibul matechos, which basically is mercury. Okay, nobody explained to these people about mercury poisoning before, so they just had discovered mercury, and it's that's cool. It's a liquid and it's nice and heavy. So so if you want to cheat people, you hollow out your rod, and you put in some mercury into there so that you can give it a little subtle tilt, and the mercury will flow down to the side. So now the scale is weighed down on the one side, and when you're weighing out measurements for a customer, you put stuff on that side of the scale so it looks heavier. But meanwhile, you're also measuring the mercury. And if you want to do it the other way, you can, if you're buying stuff, then you put the weights on the other side, so it looks like you're buying a lot less than you actually are. Okay, or similarly with that, the same thing goes for the machok, the level scale that's supposed to smooth out the produce. It becomes heavier and pushes things down where it shouldn't. Ha'esel sheyesh bo beis kibul maos, a carrying pole that's got a receptacle for holding money. If somebody's trying to hide the fact that he's got money and he's begging, and every time he gets money, he sticks it in there, and people still see that he's got no money. Okay, shel oni sheyesh bo beis kibul mayim, or a cane that's got a space for water. So a guy's saying, I can't even afford water, and meanwhile he's taking. This sounds like sort of Palestinian hunger strikers, right? Or makel sheyesh bo beis kibul mezuzah margalios, or you've got a stick that's got a place to hide why mezuzah and margalios. First of all, why are you hiding a mezuzah inside your cane? But you also got pearls. Now the pearls, I understand why you're hiding the pearls in there, because you want to get past meches without declaring it. So if somebody comes and taps the cane and says it's hollow, and they open it up, the first thing they're going to see is the mezuzah that he put in the entrance. And they say, what the heck are you doing with the mezuzah in your cane? He says, no, it's to protect me. Okay, so you can make out like you're an Amaretz and you think that a mezuzah is going to protect you while you're on the road. And the guy says, okay, you're an idiot, but go on. I don't care about your mezuzah. But meanwhile, the pearls are underneath and they're safe. Okay, so it's sort of a second line of defense if he actually discovers the receptacle. Okay, whatever the case is, all of these things that look like plain sticks, but have actually got a receptacle on the inside. Harei eilu tmein. Va'al kulan amar Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, oili im omer, oili im lo omer. Oili omer. Woe to me if I say it, woe to me if I don't say it, because like I don't want to teach people about these methods of subterfuge and cheating. But on the other hand, if I don't, then the cheats are going to think that we don't know.
Right.
Or else people will just not realize that they're being cheated. So it's best probably to have them out in the open and let it be known that we know about this kind of cheating and just be careful. Okay, let's go back.
Test Vav Dalet. All hanging loops are tamei except the loop of a household, a sifter and sieve. These are the words of Rameh, but the comments say they are all tahor except the loop of the flour merchant sifter and the loop of the sieve of the threshing floors, the loop of a hand sickle and the loop of a tax collector staff, because they assist when the utensil is in use. This is the general rule. Those designed to assist when the utensils are in use are tamei, and those designed merely for hanging are tahor. The shovel of bean grinders is tamei, but the shovel used in storehouse is tahor. The shovel of a wine press is tamei, but that of the threshing floor is tahor. General rule is that utensils that are designed to hold something are tamei, and those designed for gathering are tahor. Musical lyres are tamei, but the lyres of Levium are tahor. All liquids are tamei, but the liquids of a butchering plate are tahor. All scrolls contaminate the hands except the scroll of the temple courtyard, and the theater horse is tahor. As for a sitar and niktaman, and a tambourine, there's a tamei. And Rabbi Yehuda says a tambourine is susceptible to the tumor of the seat because the woman's well sits on it, and a weasel chop is tamei, but a mouse chop is tahor.
Okay.
What do we do now? I'm just going to continue this.
Next volume of Keilim.
Next one. So just put this away. Okay.
Well, I'm putting it away anyway because you're going back to Gimel Zayin.
Right. I meant do this separate copy. It's Gimel Zayin. A boiler that one coated with mortar or potter's clay, that which touches the mortar is tamei, and that which that touches the potter's clay is tahor. A kettle that developed a hole and one repaired it with a pitch. Rabbi Yossi rules it tahor because they cannot hold hot liquids as it does cold liquids, and that is how he used to rule concerning utensils of pitch. Copy utensils coated with pitch are tahor, but it meant for wine they're tamei. A barrel that developed a hole and one that repaired it with more pitch than necessary, that which such as the necessary pitch is tamei, and that which such as the unnecessary pitch is tahor. pitch that drip into a barrel, that which touches it is tahor, and the wind and the earthenware funnel that was plugged with pitch. If Eliezer ben Azariah rules them tameh, but Rebbe Akiva rules the wooden funnel tameh, and rules the earthenware funnel tahor, and Rebbe Yossi rules both of them tahor. Okay. One more. An earthenware fragment that one more, right?
Yes.
All right. An earthenware fragment that cannot stand because of a handle or it has a protrusion or the protrusion tilts it, it is tahor. If the handle was removed for the protrusion rod broke off, it is still hot tahor, but Rebbe Yehuda rules it tameh.
Okay.
A barrel, that was it. I didn't finish that.
Oh, no, so you didn't finish it. Oh, beg your pardon. You're right.
A barrel whose bottom fell out but is able to contain on its walls, or it split and became like two troves. The Rebbe Yehuda rules the tahor, but the sages rule them tameh. Okay. On to Arakim.
Yeah.
On base.
Gimel.
Right. A morbid person and the one being taken out to be executed cannot have his words vowed or be the subject of an Eric vow. If Kanina ben Akavia says he may be the subject of an Eric vow because his price is fixed, but his worth may be not vowed because his price is not fixed. If Josie says he may vow someone's worth to declare an Eric vow and consecrate, and if he damages, he is obligated to make restitution. If a woman is being taken out to be executed, we do not wait for her to give birth. If she sat upon the birth stool, we must wait for her to give birth. If a woman was executed, we may benefit from her hair. If an animal was put to death, any benefit from it is forbidden. There is no eric which is less than a selah, no more than 50 selam. How so? If he gave a selah and then became wealthy, he gives nothing. If he gave less than a selah, he then became wealthy, he must give 50 selams. If he had in his hands 5 selam, he says he need only give one, but the come and say he must give them all. There is no eric less than a selah, no more than 50 selam. There is no returning to the beginning of the Nida cycle for one who erred in her calculations in less than 7 days, nor in more than 17 days. There are no confinement of the Gayim for less than 1 week, and not for more than 3 weeks.
Okay.
On to
Sanhedrin.
Okay, cat talk. If one who enters through a tunnel is judged according to the eventual outcome, if he was coming through a tunnel and he broke a barrel, if his blood is accountable, he's liable. If his blood is not accountable, he is exempt. There are those who are saved at the cost of their lives, one who pursues another to kill him, and one who pursues a male or a betrothed Nahara. However, one who pursues a beast and one who desecrates Sabbath and one who engages in idolatry are not saved at the cost of their lives. These are the ones who are burned. One who cohabitates with a woman and her daughter, and the daughter of a Kohen who commits adultery. Included in the category of a woman and her daughter are his daughter's daughter, and his son's daughter. His wife's daughter, the daughter's daughter, and his son's daughter, the mother-in-law, the mother-in-law's daughter, and his father-in-law's mother. These are the ones who are beheaded. A murderer, inhabitants of an apostate town. A murderer struck another with a stone or with an iron, and he held him down in water or fire so that he could not escape, and he died, he's liable. If he pushed him into the water and into the fire and he was able to escape, but he died, he's exempt. If he incited a dog or snake against him, he is exempt. If he caused the snake to bite him, Rebbe Yehuda considers him liable, but the occasions exempt him. If one struck another, whether with a stone or his fist, and they predicted that he would die, but his condition improved, subsequently he deteriorated again and died, he's liable. But Nechama says he is exempt because there is no indication to that effect.
Yeah.
We have Sukkah. Sukkah says, Dalijin. Just as it is performed on a weekday, so it is performed on a Sabbath, except that he would fill an unconsecrated gold barrel on the eve of the Sabbath from the Shiloach and then place it in the chamber. If they were spilled or uncovered, he would fill it from a laver or uncovered wine and water unfit for the altar. The flute is played 5 or 6 days. This is the flute of the base of the Shueva, which overrides neither Sabbath nor festival. And they said, whoever did not see the rejoicing of the base of Shueva never saw rejoicing in his lifetime. By the conclusion of the first festival day of Sukkot, they descended to the women's court where they made great improvements. They have a golden candelabra there with 4 golden bowls atop them, 4 ladders for each candelabra, and 4 youths from among the young people holding pitchers of oil containing 120 log, which they poured into each bowl. From the worn-out trousers of the Kohanim and the belts that they made wicks, and they would kindle them. There was not a courtyard in Jerusalem that was not illuminated by the light of the base of Shueva. Devout men And men of good deeds would declare before them with flaming torches. They were in their hands and would utter them.
Oh, hold on. We've gone way too far. I
Right?
I lost track of you, and we were supposed to finish before Mishna Gimel. Okay, that's it.
Oh, so
Brachos.
we have Zion Gimel. How do they say the common grace? When 3, the one says, "Let us bless." When there are 3 besides him, he says, "Bless." If 10, he says, let us give blessing to our Lord." When 10 besides him, bless, whether 10 or 10 times 10,000. With 100, he says, "Let us bless the Lord our God." With 100 beside him, he says, "Bless." When 1,000 have eaten, he says, "Let us bless the Lord our God, the God of Israel." When there are 1,000 beside him, he says, "Bless." If 10,000 men, he says, "Let us bless the Lord our God, the God of Israel, the God of hosts, who sits behind the cherubim for the food we have eaten." Where are there 10,000 beside him? He says, "Bless you." And after the manner that he blesses, so do they answer after him, "Blessed be the Lord our God, the God of Israel, who sits between the cherubim and the food we have eaten." Rabbi Yossi the Galilean says, according to the multitude of the congregation, do so they bless, as it is said, "Bless God in his full assemblies, even the Lord, that you are from the fountain of Israel." Rabbi Kiva says, what do we find in the synagogue? Whether there are many or few, he says, "Bless the Lord." And Israel says, "Blessed be the Lord who is blessed." If 3 have eaten together, they are not allowed to separate. And if they are 4 or 5, 6 may separate up to 10, but 10 may not separate until there are 20. 2 groups eating in the same house may join together for zimun, as long as some see each other. And if not, these conduct their zimun alone, and so do the others. One may not recite the blessing over wine until he has added water to the fruit, and there are the words of Rabbi Eliezer. But the sages say one may recite the blessing. Okay.
I've got to go.
Have a great day.
A wonderful week.